No matter who you are or what you sell, you will have people who are doing something similar to what you're doing. However, it's critical that you understand that you could still stand out. But how? In today's episode, we're going to tell you exactly how you go about doing that. Listen up. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of Sales Evangelist podcast here on TSC TV on YouTube. My name is Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist, and I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you. And on this episode, we have the one and only Ved coming on the show, and Ved runs an organization. They have a fantastic application, a plugin, and we're going to talk about that. But one of the things that Ved has been a master of, especially someone who's been in a sales role and has a marketing capacity and also runs an organization, is how to stand out from the pack and how to make sure that your product or your service is at the forefront of your prospects' eyes in a crowded marketplace. These principles as a sales professional is critical. He's going to share with you some ideas and some strategies that you could use today to make sure that you're standing out, that your product and your services are differentiated, and that people are coming to you. Yes, they trust you. It's a fun episode. Hope you enjoy this stuff. Let's go ahead and dive in. Being in a crowded market space, how can this stifle my efforts as a sales professional? I know it may sound basic, but I think there's a lot in that.
Right, absolutely. And so I think we need to cover the main assumptions, right? Sure. If you're in a crowded marketplace, it means that there's demand, right? And it means that there's a lot of going on. With my first product that I mentioned when I came to Canada, the first product we started, we were almost the leaders, so to speak, right? We just started, we owned the market, but it was really hard because we needed to educate the vehicle shop, the repair shop owners, what software is, what cloud is, and how it all works. So it was really hard, right? When you're in the crowded marketplace, there's one thing is for sure, and that is that the market exists. Now, what a lot of people make a mistake there, and especially salespeople, they want to ramp up as quickly as possible. So the first thing they do, they try and scan what everyone else is doing, and they try and repeat that. And I think this is the main mistake. And that is something that fact. Is something that we understood really well at AutoClose, and then later on I applied the same thinking with Lead Delta, which was, how can we move past option A? Because when you start thinking, it's always like, oh, yeah, I could scrape LinkedIn. Wow, I could sell the data. Everyone thinks that. Yeah. Then, people are like, oh, wow, I can do automation. Oh, wow, let's do automation. So they go and build it. But that's the option A thinking. But I'm like, hold on a second, can we wait for can we debate for a bit more days and arrive at the option B, option C, and evaluate that as a valuable next step? I think that is the key.
So, I'm a sales rep, which I am, and I sell for my own company. How do I go about differentiating now? What we understand the why, so to speak, and what kind of diving into that a little bit. But what are some tactical things that I can do right now, or that I need to do when it comes towards differentiating?
Gotcha. So, well, if you're a small business, right? If you're up to let's say 50 people, right? And you're probably a full cycle sales rep, let's put it that way. It seems that you have a lot of interactions with your customers, right? It's it will sound like a cliche, but it's really important to listen and to really understand, almost ask the structured questions, if your product is on LinkedIn, I'll use that example, what are your objectives? What are you trying to accomplish on LinkedIn? What obstacles do you arrive at? And instead of trying to project and put phrases in their mouths, this is what I want to hear as a sales rep, and then you jump on it, be a bit more curious, take a step back. Mm-hmm. If they ask you for a certain feature, why don't you have that? Well, why do you need that? Tell me about the use case, because you as a sales guy, you're a part of a company, and your company is in the business of, providing solutions, shipping features. It's not on the customer to tell you what to build.
little bit here, the tools that you have, because you have a software that now allows us to be able to stand out from our competition in a sense and to help us to become more effective as sales reps.
All we did is we created a table/CRM view of your LinkedIn connections. So only your first degree connections that already handshake with you, that yes, you can see their data. And if you can't, we don't show it to you inside Lead Delta. Well, by the way, the product is named Lead Delta. And so that was one of the things. Another thing, we've enabled you to add tags. Wow, lo and behold, right? Like adding tags, like such a huge feature. Well, but guess what? You don't really have it on LinkedIn. You have it on LinkedIn Sales Nav, but it's relatively clunky. So that was our mission, like to help LinkedIn become a better platform so that people can get more out of it. And instead of being annoyed, like if you think of it as a bell curve, instead of these laggards to just leave, we said like, hey, come back. Instead of C-suite entrepreneurs and CEOs, instead of them to say like, oh, I have a LinkedIn profile, but I don't care about it. We said, come back. Here's a spam-free, ad-free environment, beautifully designed software that will help you to add notes, tags, send up to 25 messages, things like that, things that are benign, that won't get you into trouble, but will save you a lot of time.
If we were to boil this conversation down into just like one major takeaway advice, what's that one major piece of advice that you would give us today, Ved?
Man, I would say just think for a bit, right? Like, we kind of tend to talk and think about, what customers are talking about. Like, think about, what made them, what got them into a point where they're at the moment. Like, think about that, previous step, which is really borrowing the logic from the product management. And, another thing that I would say, storytelling. Use these little nuggets and tools of marketing and product management that can really help us become better sales reps and account executives and CXs and whatnot. Storytelling is such a powerful thing, and it can actually help you to differentiate. If you get to understand what got them to a point, where they are on the call or on Zoom or whatever they are, what got them into that situation, and you can storytell, without bad mouthing your competition, without literally separate yourself from all the market, you will create a huge fear of missing out, and you're going to be able to score big time.
Folks want to get in touch with you, how do they go about doing so?
Hey, it's all over the place. I bet there's not a lot of people with name Vedran in North America. So you can find me on LinkedIn. You can find me on Twitter. So feel free to visit leaddelta.com as well. And I'm around.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was the one and only Mr. Ved. Ved, thank you so much for coming on the show. And if you want to go ahead and connect with him, you can find some information down below. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, go in the show notes. If you're watching this on TSC TV on YouTube, you know what to do. Go down into that notes section and click on the links. We would love to connect you with Ved so you can get a chance to learn from him and to get a chance to see some of the great things that he's doing, and also take advantage of the tools that they have. I do this because I want you to succeed. I'm telling you straight up. I mean, the podcast is a great opportunity for us to grow our business and connect with folks. One of the best things that I've seen from the podcast is being able to hear how others have been able to thrive in their organization. They've been able to take the advice from myself and also some of our guests and apply them to their life and to see results. And this dude just gave you some great insights today. I want you to succeed. I want you to take advantage of our sponsors, because our sponsors, they're out here giving away some great deals that you can't find anywhere else but here in the TSC community, because they know that you're some of the good folks that's going to be applying these things. So I want you to take advantage of that. I want you to go out. I want you to find those ideal customers. I want you to know what to say when you reach them. I want you to be able to close the deal, but most importantly, I want you to raise your level of thinking and go out and do big things. Thank you so much for watching. Hey, thanks so much for taking the time to watch this video today. If you enjoyed the content, I ask you to go ahead and hit that like button, that thumbs up at the bottom right-hand corner. Also, to make sure to subscribe if you haven't done so already. This way, we'll keep you up to date with all the latest sales strategies, latest tools, and things that are going to help you to not only find more prospects, but to close more deals. Thanks so much.